have we got here, Shane? We have
a 68 Fire Chicken.
Fire Chicken. Screaming Chook. Screaming Chook. No, we have a 68 Pontiac Firebird HO.
Yes, and this car I've loved ever since I was a kid. Gary Shepherd, the guy that owns the car, he's had this car for a long time, and he was originally going to convert it to right-hand drive because that was the law, and then the laws changed, so he was able to register it as a left-hand drive car, but obviously he had to have yellow blinkers. Now, back in the day, he used to have a little yellow blinker that used to hang down here on the base of the bump bar. Laws have changed. For engineering, the light has to be a little bit higher now, but now we've put it here, so it's in the
LED reverse lights. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, your dad worked on this way back when, because
Yes.
your dad is also old car builder, and people who know Daryl Withers would know him from the exhibition building. He's built quite a few cars. Some of the big famous ones was...
He built John Ziegler's Ute Stage 2, or the second reincarnation when it was the Sorcerer, and it was black.
Yes, he put the T-tops in and the Mercedes front lights.
And got rid of the door handles.
And put the big Z in the bonnet.
Yeah. No, the Z was there.
Oh, the Z was there.
But he made it out of steel instead of body filler.
Right, and then he also did the EK, the purple EK with the lacework down the side. Gladiator.
Yeah, but that was done in the 60s, and that was painted by another guy. I think he worked for GM, and he sprayed the lacework with Dad. I remember, or I didn't remember, but I remember Dad showing me the lacework and how it was done. But it was done in the 60s, so I wasn't even born yet. So.
Yeah, but way back when he built the first version of this for Gary.
Yes, so basically it was a HO with a 455 in it. So, and Gary's always liked to go fast, so Dad enhanced the engine, but unfortunately Pontiacs, when you're revving them really, really hard, they have oil pressure issues or they have oil temperature issues because of the large bearings that they have in the crank mains. So they have a 3 1/4 inch main bearing, which is quite a large bearing, and anyone that knows about basic mechanics, as the bearing speed increases, obviously the oil gets hot in the bearing. A smaller bearing journal doesn't get as hot as a large bearing journal.
Now you've changed that. The other thing that also has with the Pontiac is the big, long, heavy rods and the big pistons. So there's a lot of weight hanging off those bearings.
Yeah.
Now, the motor Gary had a bit of a bingle, and when he had a bit of a bingle in this, he decided, right, we're going to rebuild it, and I'm going to build it the way I've always wanted it to be built. And he's came to us painted.
I think it was a kangaroo that jumped out, and he had to dodge. Something happened anyway.
Not sure.
You know, because he has a few issues with kangaroos. He hit a kangaroo recently in his Mercedes, so it's just one of those things when you live out in
a
that
little
area.
bit. Yeah.
So, but anyway, so he decided he was going to put a custom touch to it. So he bought some mag wheels for it. He brought it to me. He had a 9-inch, but nothing really fitted correctly. And he had an engine built by another guy, but there was issues with the engine, so we pulled it apart. All the engine oil was black. The bearings were very badly burnt, which it was always going to happen because of those large main bearings. So what we did is we, with help from Charlie Saliba, we machined some caps to go into the block and reduced the main bearing size down to 2 3/4. That was right, yeah. 2 3/4 is the main bearing size, which is the same as a 440.
Yeah. So we've
got 440 bearings in a Pontiac.
Yeah, which of course is just all better. Plus we also changed the rods. We no longer have the heavy I-beam rods. We've got H-beams.
Yeah, we've got Chev rods in it now.
Yeah.
So a little bit lighter.
A little bit lighter, and we've got better pistons.
Yeah.
We've also stroked it. It's no longer a 455. This is...
No, the engine came to a stroke.
Yes.
But there was issues with it, So as you know, anyone that knows Pontiacs, when you start to turn these things hard, the bearings start to suffer. So, and basically what I could see when I pulled the engine apart is that they'd had way too much timing in it and started to hurt the engine. So basically what we did is we did some little touches, did some changes. We changed the fuel injection system on it.
Yes, so we went from fast to Holly
Yeah.
to the sniper system.
So we fitted a Magnum 800, which is a 6-speed transmission. It's got 2 overdrives.
Yep.
Because Gary likes to go fast. So
He likes to race it. Now,
Yeah.
the other thing that you did was the rear end.
yeah, so this is a McDonald Brothers 4-link rear.
Yes.
So the only issue that we had with the rear end is clearance for exhaust. So we had to, unfortunately, I don't like doing exhaust underneath the diff, but this has got the exhaust under the diff. But it's still plenty high enough so when you hit bumps, it's still, even with it, when you hit a big serious bump, it's still 100 mil from the ground, so which is okay.
Now, we've been building this for many, many years. As most projects, they start and stop, and cars take a long time to build, but we're near the end with this one, so we've actually got it tuned. It's running.
It's actually driving it, which is great. And I've driven it a little bit. There's still some teething problems here and there. I've got some issues with some trim pieces and stuff like that. We still got to fix and get right. But look, at the end of the day,
it's nearly 100%.
It
I
actually
would say it's
drives
about
nice.
90% of the way there
Yeah,
now.
it's 90%,
just
yeah.
a lot of little fiddly bits that need to be done. But
I don't like to hand a car over. Anyone that knows me, I don't like to hand a car over straight away. I like to drive it and find out what goes wrong and then fix it before the customer gets it. But sometimes customers just go, "Oh, I want my car, I want to drive it," and then they drive it and then they have the issue. So,
this car, for all intents and purposes, is a brand new car.
Well, it is.
So
it's a brand new
it
car.
needs to be driven. It needs to be nut and bolted.
Yeah.
Because paint will settle, bolts will
Yeah,
loosen a bit as powder coat settles, and then
Yeah.
you need to retighten everything.
Yep.
You need to make sure that all of the little teething issues are out. We like to run in the transmission. We need to run in the differential. We like to do the first 1,000, well, not first 1,000 kilometres.
We'd like to
in
do the
motor.
first 100.
First
100 kilometres, you usually get most of the bugs out of them.
Yep.
And once you've done 100 kilometres, then I'm safe to hand it back to the customer, let them do 900 kilometres, and then when it comes back, we drain the oils, we check all the bolts, we retighten all the hoses because the hoses can sometimes loosen off a little bit. So just to make sure that we don't get any leaks and things go
And we
wrong.
make sure that everything is still the way it should be, but we like to do the first at least 100 kilometres,
Yeah. So
which
we-
is,
yeah.
and plus I haven't really had time to tune this Tremec yet. Oh, tune the sniper system yet,
No,
so we need
no,
to still,
Yeah, plus the Tremec, that's another thing. The Tremec needs to be run in.
yes,
You can't just go and belt the crap out of it.
no,
They need to bed in, they need to, all the bearings need to settle, as well as all the gears need to settle. You
It's-
need to
it's-
make sure that look, they're a synchromesh transmission, but at the same time, everything needs to wear in. Like a clutch, you can't just go out and give a clutch a hard time because you get hot spots in it.
it's the same with whether it's your motor, transmission or differential. If it has moving parts, it needs to be running.
That's right, yeah.
So, because Gary had been building this car for such a long time, he just really wanted to get it up to the Camaro Firebird Nats, which was up in Albury. So we dragged it out and we towed it up there for him, and he was able to have it on display, and
And you get to drive it for the first time.
he got to drive it for a little bit.
In 10 years.
So he was a happy man.
Yes.
He was a happy man. What made it even happier was
Yeah.
that even though this car isn't finished, and I mean it's a beautiful car, he came third in best modified.
Even though it wasn't finished.
That's right. So,
it wasn't
which
too
is,
bad.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
So he's very happy. So it was good. The other thing, for those of you that have been watching Rides Down Under Workshop Wars, this car's featured a couple of times
Yes.
in that show,
Yep.
and the Camaro Firebird Nats will also be featuring in upcoming episodes of that show. Now, up at the Camaro Firebird Nats, there was a good turnout.
Yeah, it was a good turnout of cars. There was lots of Camarios and Fire Chickens, so
Yeah,
plenty of those. So, but some of the cars
GM
were absolutely
cousins?
yes. So anyone that knows me well. I'm a bit of a Pontiac fan. I do love and enjoy working on Pontiacs. Seeing I've got a few myself. But I'm more of a early Pontiac sort of a guy, but I do appreciate the performance Pontiacs. And this is one of my favourite sort of like little tiny F bodies. So, but they're quite a nice, nimble, well-handling car. They're not super light, but they're a nice handling car, and they just look fantastic. They're just a beautiful looking car, you know. So, but as you can see, this one's 501 cubes, so it's enhanced a little bit, so a little bit bigger than standard. So
I believe we've been having quite a few of these, the Camaro Firebirds, as overlay during this video, and leave us a comment below and let us know what you think of some of the Australian Camaros and Firebirds over here, especially for you American viewers. We do have quite a few down south, and quite a big Pontiac and Chev following.
Anyone that knows about this, any Americans that know about Australian Pontiacs, Pontiacs in Australia were produced here by the Holden Motor Company, and so Holden did all the Pontiacs, Oaklands and Chevs, Buicks, Oldsmobiles, Cadillacs, and even some Fords as well. So you'll see some strange ones where you'll see Fords with GM tags on them, but Ford Motor Company pretty well much come out very quickly and started producing their own. But there was a lot of individual body companies that operated outside of GM that actually used to produce cars as well. But most of the car companies' cars, or any car company's cars, were produced by GM and a lot of little tiny coach builders in Australia, and sometimes they just ordered the frames or they ordered the running gear, and then what they'd do is they'd put frames on the cars. But that's another history lesson, that is.
There's another history lesson, yes, but there was quite a few. It was quite a good show up there.
Yeah.
So we had a few of them around the racetrack, and
yeah, well, look, unfortunately we didn't make the racetrack. Now we were test driving it on the Saturday, and we were having a good time driving it, and then we looked out the back window and we noticed a lot of smoke coming out, and we went, oh, what's going on here? So we pulled over and we had a look, and lo and behold, the transmission seal out of the Magnum had popped out the back. And it wasn't until we actually went online and had a look at buying one that we found all these videos of people that have had
issues
the rear
with the
seal
Magnum.
pop out. Now, this is the first Magnum that I've ever fitted to a car.
And it was one of the first Magnums that actually came into the country way back when. This is like quite an old gearbox. Gary bought it a very long time ago.
And anyone that knows me and knows my relationship with Mal Wood, I've always bought my transmissions from Mal Wood, my manuals. There's a lot of guys that rebuild transmissions and stuff like that. That's fine. I've got no problem with that, but I always prefer to buy brand new transmissions and put them into customers' cars. Less chance of having headaches. So, and this was a brand new Magnum 800, and I don't think there was many in the country when we fitted this one.
Yeah, and it was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
So we sort of rang Mal Wood and said, listen, Mal, way back when we bought this transmission and we've got a little bit of a leak. And he went, oh, no, that's okay. I'll send you the new seals.
Yeah.
That has been fixed, and even though we've had the transmission for so many years, he came to the party and went, yep, that's okay, we can fix that, here's a new seal.
Yeah, and look, Mal's
no
great.
worries.
Mal's great like that. He's always been a man of his word, and that's why we have a good relationship with him. But look, driving the car,
unfortunately, we didn't make the racetrack.
No,
but we did
got
get
to drive
watch
it.
We did get to watch a lot of other people have a whole heap of fun going around the racetrack and the muscle cars.
Yeah.
And that was definitely something to see.
But very interesting. We noticed very different numbers compared to the Chrysler boys.
Yes, absolutely.
So it would be great to have like a muscle car nationals or something up there, and have Camaro, Chrysler, and Ford and Firebird and all the
so GM, Ford, Chrysler,
AMC.
and have them all pitted against each other around the tracks. Now that
would be cool, because I reckon that
cool.
would be the test of Clash of the Titans, we could call it.
So any of you people out there listening, that's a car event.
Anyone that would be interested in something like that. Well, I've actually thought that when they reopen Heathcote,
yes,
I wouldn't mind doing something like that, like have a whole heap of customers' cars and anyone else that wants to come along, and we'll just have a thrash out day.
Yes.
Where we compete against each other, all legally. So I always like to race on racetracks. Anyone that knows me, that's known me for many years, knows that I used to be a naughty boy when I was younger, but and lost my license a few times. But
older and wiser.
Well, you just get sick of the headaches. And look, even though we picked our spots, technically we're not supposed to be doing silly things on public
now we
roads.
do it on the raceway.
Yeah.
So, but at any rate, leave your comments below. Let us know if that is an event that you guys would definitely be interested in. I know I would.
Do it.
And again, thanks for the support. Click like and surprise.
Yeah, if you like a surprise.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And of course, check out our merch page.
Yeah, and if you like what we do, or you've got any suggestions, or if you want to know a little bit more about this car and you want us to do a video just on this car, and you want to know the ins and outs, a little bit more in depth, I'd love to do a video for everyone and show them what's all the little custom touches that have been done to the car. So it's only if you're interested.
Just leave us a comment below. Again, thanks for tuning in.
No worries.
If you like this video, don't forget to click like and leave a comment. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and click the notification bell. If you like the t-shirts that you see the crew wearing, there's a link in the description below where you can grab some for yourself. Thanks for watching.